Page 159, French dance. On page 158, they're introducing you to the 4 chord. They're inverting it already. Good grief. Let's talk about what a 4 chord is first. You remember there's 3 primary chords in every key. The 1, the 4, and the 5/7. In the key of C, we had them. The 1, I'm going to play them here. I like to play them 2 octaves apart. The 4, the 5/7. That's the key of C. Well, in the key of G, we've been here. I'll come down here. And we've had the 1 chord and the 5/7 chord, the D7 chord. Now we get the 4 chord. And if you, what is it? Well, a 4 chord in the key of G. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's built on the 4th step. It makes it a C chord. Isn't this fun? Because the C chord is a 1 chord in the key of C. But it's a 4 chord in the key of G. Nothing confusing about that, huh? Now remember, we can invert these. So if I take it and put the C on top, or I put the E on top, whichever. Well, what we're doing is we're using second inversion. We're using this. Again, it's so we can play it without moving our hands around. In the key of G, we're here. And we did the 5/7 chord, or the D7 chord here, so we're not moving hardly at all. Well, with the 4 chord, we're staying here, the thumb goes up 1. So the hands are not really moving. And let's do it with both hands. So now we got all 3 primary chords for the key of G. We got the 1, the 4, 5/7, and the 1. Be sure you know them. Each day when you do the G major scale up and down, it wouldn't hurt you to just do the primary chords just to make sure you can remember them. Same thing with the key of C. And once you can do the G scale, then you can alternate it. Maybe one day you're doing a C scale, the next you do a G scale. And one day a C scale, the next a G scale, along with its chords, just to keep them fresh. Because we're going to keep adding more. And eventually you get to the point where you've covered so many different keys and you're doing lots of pieces and a lot of different keys. So you'll just do the scales of whatever pieces you're working on. And that generally is good enough to cover it all. I still do scales and arpeggios every day, believe it or not. First time I sit down to practice, I do the scale, and the way I do it, well, I changed it over time. The way I used to do it is I would do 1 key signature a week, and I would stick with it for 1 week and get it just every day. And then on the next week I'd go around the circle of fifths and I'd do the next key signature and blah blah. Well, now, because I've done it a million times, I do it once a day. I change it every day. So I go around the circle of fifths every 12 days or so, or however. But when you're starting out, you stick with the same key for quite a while, because it's got to become just second nature to you. It has to be automatic. Now, French dance, G major, has a pickup beat. I'm going to kind of take both hands together here and see if we can do that. Your right hand, your starting second finger here, because it's going to put you in this position. Don't forget the F sharp. And the left hand, you got the chords, the G chord and the C chord, 1 chord, 4 chord, to the last line, and we'll get there. So we're here. So it's 4, 1. We come in on beat 4. 4, 1, 2. Isn't this fun? You just gotta love it. You got that note down, I hope. Okay, second line. 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 1 and, don't forget the F sharp, 1 and 2 and now you're going to cross over to the G. You just played a G major scale. Did you recognize it? It had rhythm to it. Otherwise, so if you've been practicing that scale every day, when you run across these things in music, you'll find them quite easy to play. Just got to get the rhythm, and the left hand comes up when you play the beat. So we changed hand positions. Did you notice that when we crossed over? Okay. Last line. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. fourth. No hesitations. Play through, work out. If you're hesitating in any spot, go over that spot and get rid of it. Find out, why am I hesitating? What is going on here? It may take a few tries, it may take a few days, don't care. Go over it and work it out. Then we can put in the articulation. A nice light wrist staccato here. Short. I'm on the key and I'm bouncing off of it each time. Boom, boom, boom. Now slur. Lift up. Like so. Then you repeat back up. And when you do that, lift up. You're going to lift up between the slur, and that way you can move. So you're here, lift up. Here. So you're ready to go on. Then we add the dynamics. Were you loud? This is the right hand. This melody. I don't know what loud is. You decide what loud is. It's loud. You stay loud until the second line, the pickup to the last measure. Now you're soft. Stay soft. This is melody. Then get a little louder. Now you're loud again. So you're up here. Here. It's like do it a beat at a time. 1, 2, louder, louder, loud, louder. And you're loud. And those two measures at the end, you're soft there. Here, because you end it soft. And the reason you're soft is because at the beginning of the line here, you're soft there. So when you do the second ending, have we had first and second endings? No? Oh, well, we better talk about first and second endings. Oh. It's a way of being able to shorten the printed music down so the publishers can save money printing things, or composers don't have to write out so much. What it means is each ending, you take each ending once according to its number. So at the bottom, you have a 1 and a line that goes across, and it's 2 measures. That line spans 2 measures. Then you have a 2, and that line spans 2 measures. So when we play this, we play it down to we go through the first ending, because that's the first ending. You play it the first time. You see the repeat sign. That takes you back up to the top to the reverse repeat sign, and you're going to play all that again. Then when you get down to the last line again, you'll play the first measure. But since you've already done the first ending, you don't do it again, because it's got a 1 and that's it. 1 and done there. So you skip it and you go over to the second ending and you play there. And there could be a third ending and a fourth ending, and it just gets funner and funner. Sometimes they'll put a 1, 2 for an ending. That means it's the first and second ending both. You play it twice. Type thing. So lots of things can happen here. The point is, you just play it once according to the numbers. So we play the first ending the first time, and then after we repeat it, we play the second ending, and that's how it works. So when you're playing here with the dynamics, because you're soft, because remember at the end of the second line we're soft. So when you go to the second ending the second time, you're still soft. Actually, even when you start the first ending, you start it soft and then get louder. Then okay. Speed-wise, I think it's kind of happy. Doesn't it give you an idea? Maybe it's a happy piece. A moderato, so it's not fast, it's not slow. Remember, we're not talking about the beat, because the beat could be anything. We're talking about the overall mood and flow of the piece. It's sort of a moderato feel to it. It's somewhere in the middle, not super fast, not super slow, somewhere in the middle, and it's feeling that. Something like that. Depends on how much coffee I've had. Maybe I'd slow it down a little bit. It's different for different people. How do you feel it? Make it yours. Now I'd like to play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. Not going to do dynamics, but we will do the repeat on the first and second endings. We'll do that. So I'll give us 3 counts because we come in on beat 4. Let's do it together slowly. 1, ready, go. Repeat. Three, 4. Second ending. 1, 2, 3, off.